My name is Otis Mensah, the abstractionist weathered by time amongst other things. And this is my Readymeal Sound live session. This first song is called No Record Store Day, and it's about post-record store day and post-traumatic stress. Hope you enjoy it. Okay. Yeah. Hatched out in the nest of problems, the blessed solve them, hear the heathens cackle. They pray against me, I'm the vessel chosen, threshold broken. Snuff the stronghold, shake the bondage open. This game's a banquet, watch me eat until my belly blowing. Oh, you blowing? Golden, Sonny Rollins at the bridge and broken. But I'm crossing over, if it's Sabbath I shouldn't lift a finger. But if the feeling cold should tag a shoulder, I once made an oath to kill a showing. When intern sends the beat, it's symbiosis. There's no consoling, I'm a plague of locusts. I used to walk around the rows until the poet pulled the sword from stone. And I used to doze watching Dawson's Creek, chewing forks and roads. Life's a foot-long rigmarole to rigor mortis credits rolling. Oh, you are very stoic, head is swollen, but your style is stolen like the land of totems. No stand innovations for invading culture. Rise like catching a colonizer on arrival, on a rifle. Blood and sand it's soaking, call it antisocial. I won't hang for no one, you ain't nothing but good brand imposer. Selling fake woke like a tantric mogul, going through the motions, belly flop on skies, handstand on motions. When I drop a flow, critics dissolve, provoke their focus, call it magnum opus. Flabbergasted, I craft a classic, forget your streams, I rap like I carry caskets. At your door not passing over, I get it with volition, you just play that mass hypnosis. But what's a nail to a hammer when I stroll the canvas like Yoko Ono? Who gave you a platform, I don't condone it, hand it over. Sitting in quarantine, risking a virus like a torrent seed. Just to see some trees, honestly, I risk my life for less. Like chasing fame left me dead and chewing lead. Early bird but the devil dressed, head underwater like no metal left. Sat in bed with a metal vest, I never slept, my armor never grew with me. My fears grooming me, just shake it off. Head in balcony and I play the lot, I play the cost. Find me in your junk mail, nameless with no subject matter. My dreams collapse and my body shatter. Drip like split wig, spilt milk, spoiled mammoth morning. The joy's transitory, no record store day. Stuck in the cave like an allegory. Winter came and stayed, but stay indoors cause it's mandatory. Calamity killed the cancer for me. Fan of glory, panic forming. Cut the long story short, it's inflammatory. Rap buzz cocoon, but the night never survives the morning. Yeah. Sitting in quarantine, risking the virus like to see some trees, to see some trees. Risking the virus like to see some trees, to see some trees, to see some trees.
Czas ucieka.
Shout out to intern on the ones and twos. That was an interesting one. That was abstractionist. This next one is called Internet Cafe, and it's about the internet age and us all being entrenched in it. Yeah. I woke up in this internet cafe, my parents left me cause I refused to leave, I stare inside the screen so deathly. I've been on a kill streak and now my peers respect me. I think this is my purpose and it's bigger than the nesty. See, I don't think you get me. 6 weeks of summer, yes please, I'll be signed in with my besties. You see, they know not to test me. You tell me that I'm growing up, it's time to quit this game, but I can see the life's the same. I know you masquerade your shame on this quest for acceptance and with this character you play. But say mature adults don't believe in dimensions out of space. Well, this place is my home now, my intention is to stay. My intention is to... Okay, let's play. My parents threaten me with boot camp like every single week. My mom always complaining I don't speak, but I don't feel the need. Everyone here just ignores me. Vacant, no ghost in my shell. No more nonchalant when I'm inside the story. Out of touch, torn and tortured. No, my friends are looking for me on this game map. So I've been skipping school and found my way back to this internet cafe my parents left me in. In this internet cafe, my parents left me with this keypad in my fingers and this joy in my heart. Sleep ain't good enough to keep us apart. Nah, auto save my avatar. This mouse belongs in my palm. Sleep ain't good enough to keep us apart. Yeah, I'd rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Yo, I met my girlfriend here. One day we'll meet beyond the screen. On this mattress I lie and sleep. In the back of my mind I dream. I cover my webcam, pretend I'm with you. Catch up on my dreams, enormity. I'm a ghost where I go, but sees it when I speak. I leave this room anxiety filled. I couldn't care if it's real. My only potion are my parents in pills. The only breathing freedom I get is it good as it gets. The realization, abrasion, feel that knot in my neck. I'm trying to be anywhere, not in my head. In class with my heart in my palm, the beat echoes through the hole in my chest. Internal personal identity, apartheid. A part of me's present, but part of me for pause and a part of me left. It parted like the lines in my head. Someone pulled me out of the depths. Counting backwards as I drown in my breath. Crying out, but my tongue stuck and my mouth sewn shut. Don't let those carved lines in the desk be the only thing that I left. I'd rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level. Rather die if I don't level up. I'd rather die if I don't level. Die if I don't level up. Yeah. That was called Internet Cafe. These songs are all odes to what I like to call the existential utility of art. And when I say that, I mean how art can be used as a means to document our existence in a time where our mortality feels so imminent and feels so present. You know, we're always mortal, but I think we walk through life, we stroll through life forgetting that. And I have a need to focus on how art can be a means of documenting that I was here and how I hope to and how I am cutting through the noise, especially in this social media age where we all feel so lost in one another's thoughts. Speaking of which, being lost in each other's thoughts, this next song is a sort of ode to overthinking. You know, I think we often look at overthinking as something negative, but what happens if we just give our overthinking thought ears and wings to fly? So this one's called the Thinx, and it's neither about right or wrong, it's about the beauty and nuance. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Hair in the cone, bearing the bone, don't fit the mold I'm in. Drooping and low, I'm hanging fruit at the symposium. Pick me till I bleed, I'm the breeze that carry your speech in the hole that they throw your roses in. Jacoby in the game I'm lonely in. Play right, but I wrote you out of it. I'm out of it and over it. The circle that you clone me with and cycles that I roam against. With eyes for hours, crying wolf like fools and false alarms. Crocodile to your charms. My feet are still at large, but I became the iron that you scold me with and smile when you saw me in. To try and spot a supernova in a soul of sin. Hold the cliffhanger like bouldering when they don't stick like soldering. Salty trills of trigonometry at higher arcs, shrouded with magnolia, the loneliness. From where forever grows to where the river flows. From where you never know, somewhere you never go. Pick a fight with time, pay a bill with tropes. It's like a treasure to trove, I'm never letting go. Hair in the cone, bearing the bone, yeah. Staring the bowl, wearing some old milk. Fighting the things like climbing the Sphinx, yeah. Where will I go, where will we go? My mother said the last trumpet cried. A foot and fright, I never heard it. Staring in the sun benign. Curses, I must have missed that bus of mine. Hurdle over a herd of caged birds, taking flight with a bird of mine. A sight that'll burn you blind. I bend the line, beginning of everything that's then defined. In a knife fight with an empty life. Conspire against me, I just fold in quarters. In the trenches became a friend of night. And it was then when I was sanctified. Carry my cross, the pain is temporary. My Armageddon yeah, they won't be televised. I know they line me up for violent crimes. Before they hang me up for violent crimes, scribe my ills with quill and console my cries. My hope is bona fide. And they say that you live many lives. Well, I've committed self-genocide too many times. I romanticize the best demise, but in this blood sport you need depth to rise. No nirvana, never mind. From where forever grows to where the river flows. From where you never know, somewhere you never go. Pick a fight with time or pay a bill with troves. It's like a treasure to trove, I'm never letting go. Yeah, hair in the comb, bearing the bone. Yeah. Staring the bowl, wearing some old milk. Fighting the Thinx like climbing the Sphinx. Yeah. Where will I go? Where will we go? Hair in the comb, bearing the bone. Yeah. Staring the bowl, wearing some old milk. Fighting the Thinx like climbing the Sphinx. Yeah. Where will I go? Where will we go? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are currently live. We are in the virtual realm, and this is Readymeal Sound live sessions. My name is Otis Mensah, and I'm going to get into the next song. All these songs are from a series of rap hymns and animations called Otis Mensah Exists. And this next one's called Breath of Life, and it features the incredible Hemlock Ernst. Of course, Hemlock Ernst is not here with us, but on the internet, he is definitely there, so you can check that out. This next one's called Breath of Life. I hope you enjoy it. Scared of the walls, merciless as Murphy's Law. Mercy me and gaping sore. From the core my fears pour. Feel torn in every dream I fall. From the sky a lord was born to a pile of poultry on the floor. Falsely accused, my love contorts like Baldwin if Beale Street could talk. I don't feel secure, I feel Shakur. Every childhood portrait winks at me like they knew before what I never saw. Wet myself the toss and turn. Home is you or someone there. That's why I don't ever leave the north. The stairwell plays minor scale. My pride impaled and dreams for sale. Leave me stale or see me sail. Watch me sink or see me hailed. My shadow disingenuous. He dances without me and finishes sentences. Has dinner without me and picks on my blemishes. I try defending me, kicks on my emptiness. Now I'm a degenerate. Face sorrow with sorrow and somberness. Time borrowed the novice that sold herself shut, bleeding out in the corridor, ominous. Drag crayons on mirrors now. Dare I dirty his name, brave as the novelist. I sleep with a bayonet, cause sly is the orifice, time is the coroner. Live at the concert hall, every head is just burning and churning. My stomach a worm in a bucket. I'm nothing that's gobbled the bullet, spit without a gullet of godliness. And I heard it, and we sung it as it was said. Trying to hide my sins in the church hall. Live your life and enjoy in the circle. Anointed by toil and turmoil. I shake in the soil and surplus. I shake in the turf war where the weight of the world more. Still riding the harrow, stress mixed with a marrow. Feeling absurd in the circus, just thought I deserve more. If Marvin was murdered by blood and Curtis danced with the light and then got crushed. If Otis fell from the sky from up above, then what does that make for the making of us? Still sung by the deaf of the young. Left with the crumbs after all that is done. I'm still the old klutz, labeled as dust, never cradled as such. But the fable is a must. And who knows what will become of us once the cradle is spun. And I lay awake 360 days plus, holding my heavy eyes. Oh, my heavy eyes. My name is Otis Mensah. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Readymeal Sound live sessions, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this, you can find these rap hymns live from your screen on the internet in the virtual realm via my YouTube. That's youtube.com/Otis Mensah. That's OTISMENSAH. Stay alive, stay blessed, and stay weathered. Peace and love.
Otis, that performance was insane.
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
enjoyed that. it's interesting for me because I first discovered you at Shambhala Festival last year.
Ah, dope.
And I hadn't heard of you before. I think I'd heard the name, but I'd never heard your music.
Sure.
And we were all just looking for something to do in the day, and we were having a little sort of dance around on the stage, and you sort of step up on the stage, very discreetly, sort of set up your laptop, and within 10 seconds, you brought the whole crowd straight to the front, and your engagement with everyone, it honestly blew me away. It was...
Thank you so much for reminding me of that. It's like emotionally I'm completely disconnected to any real live show at the moment, so it's nice to be reminded.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it blew me away, and honestly, I came away from that so inspired. It's why I started rapping.
Wow,
so yeah,
that's amazing.
It's really cool for me to see, to be basically a one-man audience to your show.
Wow, thank you.
So yeah, you are the Poet Laureate for Sheffield, right?
I am for now. I am currently in the process of handing it over to an incredible poet called Warda Yassin. She's going to be taking over the role for Sheffield for the next 2 years. I'm really excited to sort of see Sheffield flourish under her sort of poetic influence, you know. So yeah.
No, cool. So like, where in your time as Poet Laureate, what did that entail? What did you do? What did you personally gain from it?
I gained so much from it. Personally, I gained so much, and the role itself became extremely broad. I got the opportunity to sort of partake in so many different sort of artistic practices. Got the opportunity to deliver my first public lecture. Did some school workshops around poetry, school assemblies, and performing overseas, stuff of that nature. So the role became a catalyst and a vehicle for, my ethos as an artist anyway.
Yeah.
And my ethos was always about vulnerable expression and centering vulnerable expression and seeing how art and poetry can be used as a means to not only build a better emotional connection between one another as humans, artist and audience, but also see it as a political tool and a tool to sort of call out systems of oppression and systems of structures of power, and I think that's what the role itself did. It's not too often that someone like me becomes Poet Laureate. So it broke down a certain barrier and a mold of elitist, whitewashed poetry world. So that was a beautiful thing. And Majid, our previous Lord Mayor of Sheffield, our beloved Lord Mayor of Sheffield, started that incredible legacy. And I was just honoured to take it on, as a challenge.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So it's a lot of the things I read online about you being the Poet Laureate, they're really like, a rapper has been given Poet Laureate. And
sure.
that is, I presume there aren't any other rappers that have that kind of position.
Perhaps in the States, I may be wrong, but I think I'm the first hip hop artist to be titled Poet Laureate in the UK. Perhaps.
And that means a lot. And that means a lot to you. Do you think that's important for the culture?
I think it's extremely important. The reason I think it's important is because the lines between what a poet is and what a hip hop artist is, for me, are blurred. And the reason they're so blurred is because I feel that hip hop as a culture has such a strong history and presence of potent poetry within the culture, within the art form. And I think it's more often than not, hip hop is sort of infantilized and treated as something uncivilized, or something that's not to be considered amongst other intellectual art forms, and it's completely wrong. Everything. People often ask me, what are the books you read? Who are your favorite poets? And they always say it in that voice, because you're so well spoken. And I don't play their games. I'm not an avid reader, and I'm not necessarily proud of that, but I really do glean my knowledge and my curiosity for study from hip hop. From hip-hop culture. Hip-hop really did teach me everything I know about politics, everything I know, or at least sparked my study. Everything I know about politics, philosophy, about the world, about race. So hip-hop has really been a very strong presence in my life, and so many others. And I think it doesn't get the due credit it's deserved. So that's what the role was about in some ways for me, giving hip-hop its due credit.
Amazing. So where did you... sort of personally for yourself as a performer and also in the wider world, where do you draw the line between spoken word and rap?
I think for me, the journey is about forgetting that the line exists, you know, and I say that as a political motive, you know, that's a political motive for me. I would have never said, hey, my name's Otis Mensah, I'm a poet. You know, I would have always said, hi, my name is Otis Mensah, I'm a hip hop artist. But the more I started to see that hip hop was not credited, you know, for its poetic entities, for its poetic credibility, the more I start to say, hey, my name is Otis Mensah, I'm a poet that derived from hip hop culture. And you know, but like, and you, as I was saying, when someone asked me who my favorite poets are, I'm going to tell you Black Thought of the Roots, I'm going to tell you Billy Woods, I'm going to tell you Open Mike Eagle, you know, because these are the poets that shaped me. And if somebody's looking at me and saying, hey, that's a poetic individual, they deserve to know who influenced me, and it wasn't Shakespeare. You know, so for me, it's a political choice to forget that the lines exist between rap and poetry, because rap is so poetic to me, you know? Yeah.
No, it's beautiful, beautiful. So you were talking about favourite rappers of yours there, and the last tune you played for us features Hemlock Ernst.
Sure.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
When it came up on my Spotify and I saw you had a track with him, I was gassed for you. I was like,
yeah,
that is crazy.
I was also the same.
So how did that come about? How did it?
That's a good question. So I'm not sure. I mean, first and foremost, I've been a fan of Hemlock Ernst since hearing his verse on Souvenirs from So the Flies Don't Come.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Milo, or you know, formerly known as Milo, now Rap Ferreira. When I heard that Hemlock Ernst verse, I was like, what? That verse, like, it just hit me. It hit me, you know. He's talking about Murakami, and he's talking about, I don't know. Yeah, but it just really impacted me, and his voice, like how it sort of had such a strong presence on the track. But I had no idea who Hemlock Ernst was, and it took some time for me to discover his album Back at the House with Kenny Siegel, and I'm a big fan of. The hip hop scene in LA, it's really influenced me, the experimental hip hop scene and its history and how it flourishes through the internet now in so many ways. And discovering Hemlock Ernst as an MC and discovering that album really had an impact on me. Like, I think it was my album of, I think it was 2018 or 19. I did nothing but listen to that album. So when I wrote Breath of Life, I could just hear his voice on it, you know. And I was like, oh, it's a long shot. He's probably not gonna reach out to me, or he's probably not gonna get back to me. But I reached out to him. Probably one of the most humble and genuine artists I've ever come across within the industry. And he was vibing with the song, and he laid a verse down, and I was mind blown. And yeah, so it's a blessing to have one of my favorite MCs on my track. You know.
Of course. So was that all done over the internet, or? The
recording was done over the internet, but we happened to be in London at the same time. I think he was travelling to London. He was visiting London, and I just happened to be in London for a show. I went to go and see one of my favourite artists, OK Kaya. And we sat down, had a coffee. It was great to sort of pick his brain on philosophy, on hip hop, and it was just nice to rap it with him, you know. Yeah.
What blew me away after listening to that album for a while was my friend was like, yeah, but you know, isn't it crazy that he's the singer in Future Islands?
Man, it took me so long to realize that, and when I did, I was just mind blown. Like I was like, you know, how much talent can you fit into an individual? You know, and you think about artists like Donald Glover and, you know, Childish Gambino, and you know, there's not many artists like that, I don't feel, who hold their artistic integrity and hold their daring experimentation and, you know, carry it amongst different channels, mediums of expression, you know. So it's like, you know, you've got Hemlock Ernst as Future Islands, Samuel, and then you've got him as Hemlock Ernst, and it's like, that's what I love about Donald Glover. You've got him as Donald Glover when he's writing for Atlanta, and then you've got him as, you know, Childish Gambino when he's writing Camp. And you get all these different phases and faces of an artist. And to me, that's what I like, the renaissance and the nuance of that. And, you know, getting to explore someone's personality through different mediums, and them not being tied to a specific a specific form of expression. That's beautiful to me, and it stands as an inspiration to me. You know.
Interesting, because I've never made up my mind on how I feel about this. I mean, I've always made music very eclectically and always been like struggling with like, oh, is this going to fit with this? And I almost always thought, just be you and have all avenues of you. But I really like your output, that it's that different lens to see you through. It's still all you, but it's just a different way of labelling it.
Yeah, and I don't get me wrong. I am a firm believer in being a master of your craft, you know, and focusing in on your strong points. But I think if you feel inclined to explore another art form, it was probably meant to be. You know, it was probably authentic. If you naturally went that way, you know. So yeah, I think sometimes for me, rap is always and hip hop as a culture has always provided me such a strong vehicle for me to get my ideas across. And I wouldn't want that any other way. I love hip hop so much and everything it's taught me, its history. I feel that, and I feel that my creativity is inseparable from that. Whether or not I can take that same energy into another art form is a different question. I think that I've really enjoyed sort of carrying what hip hop taught me into written poetry, you know, putting out my first poetry book, Safe Metamorphosis, with Prototype Publishing. That really showed me that hip hop has taught me an awful lot. You know, it taught me about words, and it taught me to harness vulnerability and poetic, what I like to call poetic vulnerability, to my own advantage, and in a way that you know, eases the burden of my mental health, and hopefully creates a community when I'm sharing these vulnerable findings, these introspective, what I like to call introspective documentarianism, this idea of delving deep within and making a documentary of it, you know, sharing that and seeing how we all have, you know, our own obscurities, our own individual introspective obscurities, but how they talk to a universal understanding. I love that, and I love how hip hop taught me how I can carry that into different mediums of expression, you know?
Brilliant, amazing. So you talk about the experimental hip hop scene in LA. I was interested to like what you think of the UK hip hop scene, because obviously it's always kind of overshadowed by grime and drill, which are both brilliant and have their place, but it's always kind of been the little brother of the UK sort of hip hop scene. Yeah, how do you feel about that landscape, and who inspired you from sort of that UK hip hop scene, and yeah?
Yeah, that's a great question. I originally got into grime when I was a teenager, as I think a lot of kids did from the UK. Growing up, when I grew up, being in school when we did, you know, we were writing raps on the back of school books, having clashes in the schoolyard, full energy in that, and I think I could never take anything away from what grime is and what grime means for the UK. I think for me, at the time, it started to sort of communicate with my identity issues. I think it started to communicate with my existential quarrel as a teenager, and me feeling like I had to pretend to be something that I wasn't. You know, and that doesn't speak to grime as a culture, but it spoke to my relationship with grime. I think there was a lot of pretense on my behalf, pretending to hold a certain level of masculinity.
I feel that.
You know, and I feel that did something to my mental health, and I was looking for an expressionistic outlet where I could explore these vulnerabilities, and I could explore breaking down my conditioning of masculinity, you know? And hip-hop was that for me. Discovering Kid Cudi was that for me. So it became less about geography, and because I was somewhat of an isolated teenager, what I like to call a child of the internet, it became more about the art itself and what it spoke to, as opposed to the geography of the art. I wasn't going out anyway, so there was no local scene for me. I'm sure there was a local scene flourishing, but for me in Sheffield, there was no local scene because I was in my bedroom watching raps that were happening in Europe or in the States. So geography became less important, and what I like to call poetic vulnerability became important, and that sort of defied genre in a way. It just became about, is this person rapping? It became about, how is this person daring to be vulnerable and doing something, and doing so in an interesting and poetic way, you know? So that became the forefront of my lens for how I perceive art, how I create art, and how I consume art. That being said, doesn't mean that there wasn't incredible UK hip-hop artists. Even though I felt detached from the scene, there was a plethora of hip-hop artists who meant the world to me. And I think growing into myself as a hip-hop artist, discovering artists like Ty, and his history and everything he's done for the UK, and sort of I felt like he created a lane that made me feel more British, you know, in terms of my artistry in hip-hop. So rest in peace to Ty and everything his music meant. And it, you know, it's still so powerful to this day. And yeah, I'm really thankful for what he's done, and just being able to come across his artistry even later through the power of the internet, you know. So Ty is one. Coach A Radical, I'm a big fan of from the UK. I think he's just an incredible poet and musician. There's a collective called Hawk House. You know, I don't know if they're still putting out music under Hawk House, but discovering that they were from the UK and creating a sort of hip hop that I, you know, felt so strongly about. You know, it was obvious that they were influenced by Tribe or, you know, Dilla. So feeling that influence, but in a UK way, felt so important to me. So coming across them online was important. So I guess I have less to say about a UK hip hop scene, more to say about UK hip hop creatives that really left their mark on me. You know? Yeah.
Cool, man. Are there any? I was going to ask you if there's any newcomers in the UK as a follow-up question that you've got your eye on, but I'd rather just ask you, like, newcomers in hip hop right now that you've really.
That's a good question. Who have I been listening to right now? Of course, I'm a big fan of Rap Ferreira. He's not anything of a newcomer though. His heritage and mark in hip hop, especially like the experimental world of hip hop, has been so sort of prevalent and impactful. But yeah, Rap Ferreira, I love his work. Open My Eagle again, I'm a big fan. His what I consider art rap, from his definition, is what I tend to gravitate towards. And
you say art rap?
Art rap,
okay.
And I think Open Mike Eagle, I'm definitely paraphrasing, but I think Open Mike Eagle explained it to be something of rap that puts its artistic integrities and artistic motives at the forefront. In a world perhaps of fabrication, or in a world of other motives. So yeah, art rap, for me that's Rap Ferreira, that's Open Mike Eagle, that's perhaps Bus Driver, that's Quelly Chris. I'm a big fan of Quelly Chris. He put out an incredible album. And then I'm a big fan of the movement that is derived from sort of Mike and sort of the thing that Earl Sweatshirt has been a part of, and other MCs like Blue Navy and Akai Solo, but you know, sort of I talk about hip hop because it's really what stands in my mind and is so prevalent to me and so impactful to me. But you know, I've been enjoying, speaking of poetic vulnerability, I've been enjoying art that's just poetically vulnerable. I'm a big fan of artists like OK Kaya. She put out an incredible album or mixtape during Corona times called Surviving is the New Normal. There's also a musician called Eric Mason from Minneapolis in the States, and he's just one of the most mind-blowing artists to me. There's an indie artist from LA called Swoon, who I had the pleasure of interviewing. He's incredible.
Swoon recently. Does a track with Carter Ace, or it's called Carter Ace. I've literally very recently
Perhaps so. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's got lots of collaborations, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm a big fan.
No, really cool.
There's so much. I love the internet. Thank God for the internet. You know, there's a world.